Shalom, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakadash, and double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and brothers at with millstone. His salutations to the men that is teaching the likewise 100% doctrine. His salutations also to the hopefully elect. This is a brother Rai Banya, and still here to share our lesson. And title of this lesson is Where the Money At. This is a lot of Jakes is demanding accountability and monetary help from the church, and that is what piqued my interest in doing a lesson on this article. For many years, the church has speak and taught untruths to our people. They have not let our people know, you Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, who you were as a nation of people, and what you need to do to please your power. The true names, of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and not Jesus Christ or God, right? So they have taught you lies, and over the years, and this is around the world, and has taken tithe money, right, to keep up that structure. So more people are, demanding accountability, from these churches, namely because they are seeing notable bad examples, right? These are mega preachers that have online presence, television networks, and are on radio, are on radio stations, right? So, and pastors are pillaging money from the congregation, so they are seeing bad examples. I'm not saying all of them do that, but there's a growing number of churches hiding finances, and people are taking note in these last days because everything is being revealed. Yahweh is revealing the waywardness in this current world and in our nation, right? So people are taking notice of it. So I just wanted to share this article real quick, read a few scriptures, and close it all over, and it be edifying unto you, right? So here you have an article where a woman is grieved about a funeral procession. So the title of the article, it says, Where the Money At? Woman confronts church over $900 funeral fee for aunt who tithed 50 years. Alright. It says a woman has gone viral on social media after publicly confronting her church over what she says was an $800 fee to hold her aunt's funeral, despite the family claim that the deceased had been a faithful tithing member for more than 5 decades. Yeah, that's a long time. So $800 for the funeral, right, of the member that was loyal to them for 5 decades. So I looked up how long is the average funeral, and it says a typical funeral service lasts between 30 and 60 minutes, though many last up to 90 minutes depending on religious, cultural, or personal traditions. That's not a very long time, right? An hour to hour and a half, right? It says the main service often includes music, eulogies, and readings. When combined with a graveside service, 15 to 30 minutes, the entire process takes about an hour or more. Just got up. It says key factors influencing the length of a funeral: location. Church services may be longer, roughly 40 to 60 minutes, due to rituals like Holy Communion, while funeral home services offer more flexibility. Service type. A graveside service is usually shorter, 10 to 30 minutes. That's where the outside, putting the casket into the ground with the body in it, right? Whereas a celebration of life can last 1 to 3 hours, which is still not a long time. Uh, Speakers and rituals, multiple eulogies, musical tributes, or video montages can significantly extend the time. Wakes, receptions. It says while the funeral itself is about an hour, the following reception or wake can last several hours. And it says here, most funeral homes allocate hour slots, making 45 to 60 minutes a standard duration for the main ceremony. Right? So, about an hour and a half funeral service, right? But the church wants $800 for the tithing member that deceased of more than 5 decades. It says in a video posted on TikTok, user, no city name there, recounted confronting church leaders about learning about the charge while planning the service. I guess this is the family member of the deceased. It says, according to the woman's account, she and a cousin visited the church to discuss funeral arrangements for her aunt, who said she had been a member for more than 55 years, wow, and had regularly contributed tithes. During the meeting, the pastor allegedly told them that the church would charge $800 to host the funeral service. Right? It says the pastor reportedly explained the fee would help cover costs associated with the event, including the food preparation, cleaning the church, and compensating ushers and deacons, assisting with the service. Now, when a person pay tithes, it goes towards the elevation, right, and the promoting of the Lord's ministry, right? So the pastor, the deacons, and who else, the ushers and stuff, are servants of the Lord, right? And here there's, they have the church, so the church has maintenance, roof to be repaired if leaking. It has faucets to change or repair if leaking. Electricity bills. If it's on rented land, some type of mortgage or lease, so on and so forth. Equipment to keep the congregation cool in the summer and warm in the winter, right? And then you have the pastor. If he is not working a full-time job, he takes something to sustain himself. And then you have the people in the church that clean the church, the deacons, ushers, that may come in a few days in the week to do stuff, in the church as well, that assists. They gotta get something out of all the tithes and stuff. So the tithes goes into to all of that, right? And the pastor, he teaches, but is as a courtesy for the woman being in church that long. She's well known. She at that point you're considered family. 55 years regularly going to church, tithing every week. All right, is considered family at that point. So she's well known. So in that particular situation, the church, they could have did it for her, seeing how it's only an hour. Since I just read, it takes about an hour and a half to do a quick service, right? To send off the body of one of your most loyal, churchgoers. They could have did it. They could have did it for free. You know what I mean? Especially that long amount of time having a relationship with the church, the pastors, and all of that. So she pretty much know all the at least the church, a lot of the church members and those that actually run the church, right? So she's a part of the service. So they could have done it for free, at least for this lady that was a member for all those multiple years, right? And this is why in Jeremiah 3:15, it is taught that the church members have to do things, the church leaders have to do things to prevent the flock from being scattered, and I'll go into that first. And this is one of them. It's how you handle things, in context. I don't know every waking detail that went on between the family, the relatives, and the church head. But it's how we conduct ourselves, man. Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. And it says, "And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding," right? So in this right, these pastors are not teaching the right doctrine. Even if they know that you are Israelites, they pass that heritage off to the people that are in the land right now, and not according to the scriptures that line up with the prophecies and conditions of our people to mark who the true nation of Israel and stuff is. Right, and I'm reading it in the EMP. It says, "Then in the final time I will give you spiritual shepherds," right, that will teach you truth, right, "after mine own heart, who will feed you with knowledge and true understanding." So the true understanding of this book, of this knowledge, is that we are the children of Israel, but this is not what is being taught. You understand? And then you have greed and stuff that comes into play, among these church leaders. But, like I said, I don't know every weekend detail, but at least for her and that situation, they could have did it for free. And this is why you have a lot of churchgoers. They are now asking pastors to help out with the people rent, because as you have seen here, you have some notable church leaders that are asking churchgoers to empty the bank account, and that they want each particular person to give $1,000, so on and so forth, telling the ushers to close the door, and ain't nobody leaving until they give $1,000 or what have you. You know what I mean? So in these last days, more people is gonna come after these pastors for teaching these false truths. I remember during the pandemic, you had this one cat. He ran up in the church, and he shot at the pastor. Right? So people are getting tired of the nonsense, man. Of they taking tithes and stuff and not really helping the people. And I don't think monetarily people really care. But if the pastors were teaching the right thing and sincerely cared about the people, the money just afterthought, our people wouldn't mind like that. But when you're teaching lies and you're committing adultery, you're being hypocritical. You're teaching that a man is supposed to have one woman, but then you have your church wife, right, that everybody knows your wife, but then you're committing adultery with other men's wives in the church. So you're gonna have a lot of angry people that is gonna seek these pastors and they out in these last days. But going back to the article, it says It says, but the explanation prompted an angry response from the woman, right? When he told her that this fee was to pay for food preparation, cleaning the church, compensation of ushers, so on and so forth. But like I said, at that point, for the woman that spent 55 years in the congregation, that should have been done free, because she knows the staff, she knows the pastor, she be there every day of the week. Lord forbid she get sick. At that point, they should have done that out of the gladness of their heart for her. You know what I mean? All right. So the explanation prompted an angry response from the woman, who said the long-time members had already supported the church financially for decades. This little bar here says, these folks being members of your church since they were little kids, and you finna sit here and tell me you're going to charge us for a service here? All right. Questions about tithes and church finances. In the clip, the woman repeatedly asked where the money from years of tithes, fundraisers, and church events had gone. She accused the pastor of focusing sermons heavily on financial contribution while failing to support members' family during difficult times. It's a hardship cry, right? So like I said, it's not outhouse, it's in-house member. And she been there for a long time, so prepare something for the immediate family to eat. You have the willing members willing to clean the church after, so on and so forth. But for that member, they could have did it for free, right? In another headline, it says, you praise people when they sit in front of you, she said in the video, but you can't even do their service for free. For people is going to demand more from these pastors in these last days. But the true thing is they're going to demand is for that wine, right? The word, right? The knowledge of the scriptures, because the money pass it away. The things of this world pass it away. So people is going to have that hunger and that thirst for that sincere wine, right? Which is the knowledge of the scriptures, but they're not going to find it, especially in these a lot of these harlot houses. Online debate erupts. It says the video sparked widespread debate online, with viewers divided over whether churches should charge for funeral services. It says some commenters argued that churches still face operational expenses, which I did say in the beginning. When you pay tithes, to include, the church maintenance, so on and so forth, right? Including staffing, utilities, and event preparation that can justify service fees. It says others said long-standing members who have financially supported a church for decades should receive funeral service without additional charge. I also mentioned that also. So it's all, context, man. You know what I mean? They ain't gonna do every funeral service for free. All right? And a true member, a true believer of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, or leader, they have guidance and stuff, or stewardship over your soul under Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And this is why we ought to obey true leaders and not these a lot of these hypocrites in these churches. So I'm going to read the book of Hebrews, the 13th chapter, and the 17th verse. This is the KJV. It says, obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch over your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy, right? So it's not supposed to be grievous unto them. So when they minister unto you, and they guide over your soul under the authority of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, they're supposed to do it with joy, and the people are supposed to listen, obey these men under Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And it says, and not with grief, for that is uncomfortable for you, right? So due to the church bringing, that grief unto the people, it makes them uncomfortable, which scatter the flock, as I mentioned in Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter and the 15th verse. So people is looking at these things, man. And you're going to have a lot of people leaving the churches, but then, the Bible said that all people is a selfish people, so all people is foolish. So you're going to have a lot staying as well. So some is going to come out of the church and find out who they are, and they're going to join the Israelite congregation, hopefully that of Great Millstone, right? And the brothers that teach the likewise doctrine. But most is going to stay in the church, right? Let's read it in AMP. It says, obey your spiritual leaders, see? And submit to them, recognizing the authority over you. For they are keeping watch over your soul, right? Teaching the right thing, and that's why they keep watch over you, teaching the right thing, rebuking you for when you do wrong, and not like what the churches do. They see bad behavior with women and men in the church, and they allow it to stand, right? So that rebuke and reproof is also part of keeping watch over your soul, right? And continually guarding your spiritual welfare, right? Making sure that you ain't going off, so on and so forth, as those who will give an account, right, of their stewardship of you. Right? Let them do this with joy and not with grief and groans, for this would be of no benefit to you, right? So the people or the woman, the family members, is not being benefited by the Church Institute at this particular moment. Let's see where I left off. Continuing on, it says the viral video continues circulating on social media platforms, fueling broader discussion about church finances, tithing practices, and how religious institutions support long-term members and their families during times of loss. All right, it says the post where the money at woman confronts church over $800 funeral fee for Anne who tithed 50 years appeared first on Shine My Crown. And that brings us to the end of the article. All right, so for our 1.5 funeral service, they are charging $800 for it, right? And I'll end in the book of Jeremiah again, chapter 23, verse 1 and 2. It says, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter, right, the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord. So the Most High is going to recompense them for the evils, right, that they do against our people. And the first one that they do is upon finding out that we are the Israelites, especially in these times, man. Everything going on, if you dare studying the Bible, as they say, and you find out that your people are the Israelites, you're supposed to teach that, study and teach that. And that's one of the first offenses that they do, is not teaching our people who they are, right? And then being a hypocrite in the church as well. So you have people that leave and scatter and go into other things, other denominations as a result. So you may have some people might leave Episcopal Church, go into a non-domination, go to the Catholic Church, so on and so forth. You understand? And this is why, even in the truth, you have brothers who said before they found Great Millstone, they were in different camps because they were not being fed the 100% truth, right? So that yearning, that thirst for the wine, that hunger for the meat and for the bread, right, of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, led them here, led them to a Great Millstone, right, where they are filled, you know, with the wine and the meat, right? And then they could grow and go and teach. The church today is a dead places like a cemetery because they are not teaching the truth. You understand? So yeah, man. So people is taking notices of this church and coming after them. It's not always about the money, but the anger is gonna come, especially in these last days, from them not teaching the truth and explaining these prophecies and these things that is happening upon the face of the earth, especially when the mark of the beast, that RFID microchip is made, mandatory. All right. So where the money at? So choose your leaders wise, pray, fast, and may Yabashim Yahushai lead you to living waters. Until the next time, shalom.